There they are. Please state your name and occupation for the record. For the record.
My full name is Trilo. I'm employed as an operatic tenor.
Excuse me? The witness called to the stand was one Mr. Benjamin Woodman, ventriloquist.
That rope must be cut off your circulation. I said that I was a singer. Maybe you don't believe me. Fine, I'll grace you with a song. Ahem. Me. The world of the law, exciting and daring, guilt or innocence. Decided by a judge dressed up like a woman? Well, what do you think?
It had a good rhythm. It's just the lyrics. They leave something to be desired, so to speak. Trilo, you know better than to tell the judge.
Shut up! Just look at your nose. You would think you've had the sense to fix it. It's so ugly I ought to punch you in the face on the off chance swelling would help. You know that your nose is the reason you'll never be an A-list star.
Celebrities must really enjoy saying everything that flashes into their minds.
What's going on here? Order! I demand to know who the witness is!
Don't worry about me, sir. I'll let Trilo handle this.
I'm not worried about you one bit. I'm worried about getting testimony. Ouch!
You won't get anywhere trying to figure out this witness. Now, let's proceed. Just like that, eh?
Once practice was over, I left the tent with the clown. Once we got to the lodging house, I ditched him and went back to the plaza's entrance. That's where I saw Max, heading towards the scene of the crime. He was the only one heading that way. How could that punk not be the killer? Then the police showed up, took Magic Boy away.
You saw Maximilian Galactica heading towards the scene? You're sure of that?
Without a doubt. He had on his silk hat, cloak, and the dumb white roses on his chest. How could he mistake someone with that crazy gut up and his nose stuck up so high?
That's enough. I think we all get the picture. Just one thing. You said you ditched the clown?
That's right, dress boy.
Well, since you weren't with him, couldn't that mean the clown committed the crime?
He's got a point. What a shame. It was a nice theory, but the clown can't be the culprit.
Why is that?
Here's absolute proof.
A silk hat?
This was found in the scene of the crime. It belongs to the defendant. Without question, he was wearing his signature hat during practice. If the clown was the murderer, there would be no reason for this hat to be at the scene. Unless he was being framed, of course.
Well done, Miss Van Karma. Your prosecutorial skills are unrivaled. Well done.
Thank you for stating the obvious. Mr. Phoenix Wright, what do you have to say?
Okay. I guess she's the boss again today. Once practice was over, I left the tent with the clown.
The clown? You're talking about Mo?
Of course I'm talking about that old fart. He's so pathetic I can't stand him. Just a little bit of exercise and his makeup was running all over the place. Once practice was over, he was 9/10 of the way to leaning over for good. Keeling over for good.
Poor guy.
We didn't have any choice, so Ben took him back to his room. When it comes to being a first place loser, that guy's ahead of the pack.
Then what happened?
Once we got to the lodging house, I ditched him and went back to the plaza's entrance.
Why the plaza's entrance?
To do some thinking, of course.
It was awfully cold out that night, especially with all the snow around. Wouldn't thinking in your nice warm lodging house have been a better idea? Mr. Phoenix Wright, I think you should leave the thinking to the witness. But I'm a good thunker. At least my teachers always said I was.
That's when I saw Max heading towards the scene of the crime.
Are you sure it was really Max Galactica?
Of course I'm sure. How could you mistake someone wearing such a snobby three-piece getup?
Snappy three-piece getup?
Get the wax out of your ears. No, lawyers nowadays, you're like talking to a brick wall. Max's three-piece getup. Jeez, could you be any more dense? All together now. Silk hat, cloak, white roses. Thank you.
Nick, I think you should put a little bit more effort into preparing your questions.
He was the only one heading that way. How could that punk not be the killer?
You saw Max and only Max, right, Trilo?
That's right. That makes him the killer. There was only one person headed that way that night.
That makes quite a bit of sense and makes Max one suspicious character.
There's more to this story than meets the eye. Is there something amiss in this? That's a bit strange, don't you think?
What's strange?
That you only saw Max. Doesn't it seem like you should have seen someone else as well?
What? Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? Who else do you suppose this witness could have seen?
Well, he was with Russell, right? So, Russell, right?
That's the victim?
That's correct. If Trilo was at the entrance to the plaza, he should have seen the ringmaster as well. Aha! Obviously, the ringmaster arrived at the scene of crime before the witness. Could have seen him. Anyone with sense could have figured that one out. What are you talking about? The ringmaster and Max went together to the ringmaster's room. Is that, according to the defendant, a likely story? If Maximilian Galactica was supposed to be in the ringmaster's room, why was he, just as the witness stated, at the scene of the crime?
Ah!
I see. It seems to me that at this stage I have no reason to doubt this witness's testimony. And there are clearly no conclusive contradictions.
He's right. A brilliant judgment, Your Honor. Now, let's move along with the testimony. Trilo wouldn't happen to have an ulterior motive for incriminating Max, would he? Well, Max is part of that bitter love triangle with Regina, which is probably why Max clonked him over the head. Nick, wasn't Ben the one who got knocked over the head? Yeah, I think so. I don't know anymore.
Once practice was over, I left the tent with his...
Oh, what? Okay, let's press this one. Around what time did the police arrive at the scene?
I suppose I would have been around. Hey, what time was it?
I think it was around, I'd say a bit after 10:30 p.m., I think. Practice ended at 2 p.m., so you hung around the lodging house the entire time? I guess that sounds about right. Wasn't it awfully cold? I can't believe you just stand outside in that weather. Well, truth is...
Please shut up, you big-nosed dope. Why are you telling me anything extra? Why can't you believe that we just stand outside in that weather?
Well, maybe you were waiting for someone?
What? Who said we were waiting for someone?
Mr. Phoenix Wright, we can do all. We can all do without your off-headed series. But this witness, he's cracking under the pressure already. I'm onto something.
Mr. Wright. Who do you suppose the witness was waiting for out in the cold that night?
His bride-to-be. Well, if he was waiting outside in the cold, it was for one person. And one person only. He was waiting for their animal tamer, Regina.
Wah!
You were waiting outside for Regina to come back to the lodging house. Am I mistaken?
Is this true?
Well, you can't really ask me that question.
Who cares who I was waiting for that night? What's important is what I saw. Don't you forget it.
Well. The puppet may be a bit stiff, but he's right.
Eh?
Alright. There is obviously a reason why this witness was there that night. He spent all that time waiting for Regina to arrive. Moreover, even if someone else would have walked right in front of him, I doubt he would have paid them a second thought.
Ah!
That makes perfect sense.
What did you just say? The witness saw the defendant at the scene of the crime? However, he did not see the victim on the way to his eventual demise. If you accept that, then you must accept that there is a high likelihood that he could have missed someone else other than Max heading the— OW! There's absolutely no proof that the witness was waiting for the animal tamer.
I guess he got me. Alright, I'll spill the beans for real this time. It's true, I was waiting for Regina.
Pain! Don't volunteer things.
Mr. Quist, tell us the truth this time, and I mean the whole truth. Were you or were you not waiting for Regina at the entrance to the lodging house?
I was. I was waiting to propose to her.
You were what? Waiting to propose?
What's the matter? You think the humans have a monopoly on marriage?
That, the matter of puppet marriage is not under review in this case.
You're the judge. I mean, look at your horrible outfit. More pain?
Thanks to your bumbling, my perfect plan is not so perfect anymore. Now we have to waste time getting to the bottom of some silly proposal by puppet.
Don't be so surprised that I was going to propose to Regina. I even had something to give her. I kept it in my pocket, waiting for the chance to propose and give it to her. Of course, I also had it in my pocket that night. It was a present for her. In the end, I wasn't able to give it to her, so I've still got it in my pocket.
You are going to propose? You, a puppet?
Don't be so obtuse. Just because I'm a puppet doesn't mean I can't love.
I guess you're right. Just because I'm old doesn't mean I couldn't propose to her too.
Exactly.
His honor is looking a little less than Arbor right now.
Okay, Mr. Wright, please continue with your cross-examination. Sigh.
What was that? With that sigh at the end? Fuck. I don't know.
Alright. Don't be so surprised that I was going to propose to Regina.
By proposal, you mean proposing marriage, correct? To Regina?
Of course that's what I meant. What kind of stupid question is that? I was going to propose that we become some sort of outlaw biker gang together. Right, Ben?
Yeah.
Got it? That's the truth. I even had something to give it to her.
What was it exactly they planned on giving her?
You know exactly what I want. What I was going to give her, numbskull? The only thing I could find that could match Regina's beauty.
Answer his question. What was it?
You're gonna die when you hear this. It's an engagement ring.
Engagement ring? Wow, those two nearly fell out of their chairs. Mr. Phoenix Wright's joke has gone too far. Time for this to end right here. Francisca's whip looks like it's about to lash out at almost anything. One hit from that thing will probably shut someone up for a long time. Push on anyway. It may be something of a joke, but this is a historic moment. The first time that a puppet has ever proposed. Ow! I advise you to cut this argument short.
I'm going to have to agree with the defense here. Will the witness please revise their testimony? Specifically about their engagement ring, I'd like to stick to facts, not sociology.
You sure do enjoy sweating the details, especially for a man in a black bathrobe.
What? What does that mean?
I planned on giving an engagement ring to Regina.
Does that mean because he's wearing black? The sweat won't show? Anyway. An engagement ring?
Uh-huh, it's actually a diamond-shaped stone cut from glass. Even more brilliant than the real thing. I think Regina's gonna love it.
It's just a ring. What's the matter, Nick? Well, there's gotta be something I can catch him on.
I kept it in my pocket, waiting for the chance to propose and give it to her.
Whose pocket was the ring in?
Mine, of course. What a stupid question. You've gotta be kidding me. You think Ben could pull that off?
I'm sorry. Really?
You don't have to apologize for that. He's the one who should be apologizing.
Really?
Of course, I also had it in my pocket that night. It was a present for her.
So you went to the lodging house to give it to her?
That's right. I tried to give it to her during practice so many times that I lost count, but that uppity snob kept getting in the way.
Uppity snob? He couldn't be possibly talking about me, Maximilian Gaga. When I get hold of him, I'm gonna saw his woodblock in half, and not with magic.
Well, they always say that love creates, I believe.
So what about this present?
In the end, I wasn't able to give it to her, so I've still got it in my pocket.
So you are still thinking of trying to give it to Regina?
Of course I am. I spent 3 months' salary on this thing. I'm not gonna give up that easily.
I wonder how much he receives for appearing in the circus. Probably way more than he deserves.
How about it, Nick?
I think it's about time to unwrap this toy's testimony. That's the spirit, Nick. Give him heck. The judge has that dazed and confused look again. Maybe he should get out more. Alright. In the end, you still got it in your pocket? Then how do you explain this? Trilo, do you mind if I show you something? But what is it?
What are you talking about?
Uh-oh, looks like they're gonna double team me now. Do you recognize this ring?
Ah, that's mine. Give it back. Thief.
Didn't you just testify about this very object? I believe you said.
In the end, I wasn't able to give it to her, so I still got it in my pocket.
Well, why then do I have it right here?
Ah!
What is going on here?
That's Ben, say something.
Hey, don't put me on the spot like that, Trilo. I found this in Money's room.
But money's room? You mean a room they put money? Like a bank vault?
Ha! That filthy monkey's gonna get what's coming to him.
Mr. Quist, I would prefer if you avoided slandering innocent fiats in my court.
Well, Your Honor, Money really is a monkey, in every sense of the word.
Ah, I see. Well then.
Money likes to go after the shiniest things that he can find and gather them up.
Shiny things?
Trilo, when was this ring stolen from you? Well, I suppose it was that time, you know, that night, the night of the crime. What did you just say? Details, I need more details. Well, it was stolen right after Max showed up at the plaza. What about when you saw the defendant walk past, correct? Well, I guess you might, be able to say that. The ring might have, well, it could have been taken around that time. Yeah! Yo! Oh!
Ben, what's with you? Whatever. It has nothing to do with anything, especially not who committed the murder.
It's not for you to decide what has to do with what. Now, Trilo, back to the topic at hand.
I haven't admitted a thing. Not I, Mr. Trilo Quist.
What did you do when the ring was taken, Trilo?
You know exactly what I did. I chased after that ring snatching monkey. Money.
But you weren't able to catch up with him, were you?
It's all this slow, loafy fool called Ben's fault. While he was fumbling his way through the snow, that dumb monkey was able to get away.
That is indeed an incredible shame.
Well, this does indeed prove one very important point. Prove an important point? What point could that possibly be? There is a huge contradiction in this witness's testimony. Contradiction? The witness just testified to the following effect. Up until the police arrived, he didn't move from the entrance of the plaza. However, the witness just stated that he chased after Money the monkey. When the witness was off chasing Money, there was no one watching the plaza. What is the meaning of all this, Mr. Wright? Where are you going with this little theory of yours? I'm saying that there is no possible way that this witness saw the plaza the entire time. That's where I'm going with this little theory, which leads me to my next point. It is entirely possible that someone other than the defendant was at the scene.
Interesting, Mr. Wright.
Well then, tell me this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Do you have any proofs that something slipped past this vigilant ventriloquist? Well, he obviously didn't see the victim, the ringmaster, arrive on the scene. However, that doesn't change the fact that he saw the defendant arrive. The witness is lying. He is blinded by his rivalry with Max.
Well, the defense argument does hold water. This witness does have a history of animosity towards the defendant.
What? How dare you? I wouldn't lie just to get that dork face in trouble. He's not even worth it. I saw him, no doubt about it. I saw that worthless liar.
Well, just for clarity's sake, let's flesh out exactly who you saw that night.
Ha! I've told you so many times you think you know my story's not changing.
You've already changed your story, Stick Boy. I'm sure it will change some more.
Where there's one lie, there are usually many more behind it.
Exactly, Maya. That's why we have to keep after him.
Yeah.
Alright.
I'll give you that I was waiting for that night for Regina, but that doesn't change the fact that I saw Max in the plaza that night. He showed up after I had been waiting there for about 5 minutes. I said good evening to him, but he didn't even acknowledge my presence. I'm absolutely sure it was him. I saw Maximilian glad to get the scene. There's no way I could mistake someone wearing those 3 ridiculous symbols.
So that means that money didn't show up until after you saw Max?
That's right, money ran up less than a minute after I saw Max.
Then Money snatched the ring, and he went chasing after him.
How long was it until you came back to where you were waiting?
Well, let's see, I'd say about...
I suppose 5 minutes, I think. So the victim could have arrived on scene in that 5 minute stretch.
Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination.
Oh boy.
I'll give you that I was waiting that night for Regina.
So you were only concerned with waiting for Regina that night? That means you probably wouldn't have noticed if someone else showed up?
You should think about how many eyes I actually have. I've got 4, you know. 4. F-O-U-R. Counting Ben, of course. With that many eyes, do you really think something would have slipped by me?
4 eyes is an awful lot of attention directed at what area, I suppose.
Yikes, the judge is even more dangerous to our case than Trilo. Well, that doesn't change the fact that I saw Max in the plaza that night.
So you saw Max coming out of the big top that night?
Of course that's what I saw him coming from. I was staring at the entrance to the tent the entire time.
I guess that makes sense, especially since he was waiting for Regina.
He showed up after I had been waiting there for about 5 minutes.
About what time would you say these events took place?
You're one of the dumbest people on the planet if you can't figure it out yourself. You already know that practice finished promptly at 10 p.m. And you already know that I went to the lodging house right after practice. You don't need to be brain surgeon to know around what time it was when I saw him. Just add 10 more minutes. I'm sure you can do that. Now, what time was it?
Indeed, what time was it?
What time was it? Let me think about that for a second. Yo! I'm no good at math!
Sigh, it was 10:10 p.m.
Ah, yes, that sounds about right.
Sounds about right because that's the time I saw Max on the scene. I said good evening to him, but he didn't even acknowledge my presence.
So that's why that you said good evening to Max that night.
You must enjoy asking incredibly obvious questions. You say good morning in the morning and good afternoon during the day, right? And it's obvious that I'd say good night to someone at night. What, Ben? You got something to add? Let me guess. You say good evening at night.
I'm sorry, Trilo.
Mr. Quist, I would prefer if you kept your ventriloquist act outside the courtroom.
Impossible. A performer lives and breathes his performances. You should know better.
There's gotta be something wrong with this bit of testimony. Isn't that a bit strange to you?
What do you mean?
Well, if you hate Max so much, why would you bother being nice to him? It strikes me as somewhat strange.
Why would it strike you as strange?
Exactly. How is it strange to be cordial to one of your co-workers?
Well, if it was simply just being cordial to a coworker, I would understand. Ow! That hurt!
Maybe you should think of having some proof before your lips start flapping next time. Proof is everything in this world. You should have learned that back in grade school.
There's no reason that Trilo would ever say something nice to Max. But how do I go about proving that with evidence?
Bluffing is everything in this world, but I'm sure you already learned that one. I guess I can give it a shot.
The witness will resume his testimony.
I'm absolutely sure it was him. I saw Maximilian Galactica at the scene.
You're absolutely 100% sure of what you just said?
I told you already. Jeez, I am 100% absolutely sure.
There's no way that you could be any more confident than that, right?
Well, he could be 200% sure. There's no way I could mistake someone wearing those 3 ridiculous symbols.
Those 3 ridiculous symbols, huh?
Out of curiosity, exactly how many times have you asked that question by now?
Twice?
If you're gonna ask again, I'll answer with a chorus. Everyone together now.
Silk hat,
Cloak!
white roses.
Thank you very much.
Maya, you didn't have to join in, did you? But it's fun shouting out with everyone else. There has to be a hole in his testimony somewhere. I agree, but do we have the proof to make it stick? Make something stick? All we can do is try, right, Nick? We've got to have something that will prove useful. Alright, time to go to work. Time to go to work. Work all day. Search for Arabats. Hey. Okay. How do you explain this, Trilo? Trilo, is it not true that you had a fight with Max on the day of the murder? A fight? A fight over Regina, to be exact.
It wasn't that big of a deal. It was just an argument. A disagreement at most.
A disagreement usually doesn't end with someone getting clonked over the head.
Ah!
That morning, Ben got clobbered over the head by Max, didn't he?
What? Is that an admission of assault and battery?
Ouch! Before we handle that, we should wrap up the defendant's murder charge first. The truth is that on the day of the crime, the defendant and witness had a huge fight. There's absolutely no way they would have suddenly become cordial that evening. Moreover, just consider the personality of the witness on stand. There is no way a public this lewd would just get up and say good evening to his rival.
Gwah!
Are you saying this witness is lying? That he is trying to frame the defendant by claiming to have seen him at the crime scene?
I didn't tell a single lie. Honestly, I just...
That's enough from you, Mr. Quist. Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's clarify this testimony for the court. Could you explain your theory about who the witness actually saw that night?
It is my belief that the witness did indeed see someone that night. It was just someone else. That's who he said good evening to. What kind of theory is that? The correct one. Furthermore, I don't believe the person the witness saw was Max at all. What? If he had truly met Max that night, there would have been no greeting at all. Which means there's only one proper answer. The person the witness saw that night was not Max Melangatka. That is why Trilo made the effort to greet whoever it was he saw that evening. Or good evening, as he put it. What in the world? You?
Would the defense kindly explain who it was Trilo saw that evening then?
I think I might know who it is. Considering the ill temper of this witness, there is only one person who would greet.
It must be Regina. It's Regina, right? She's so cute.
No, Your Honor, it is not Regina. If it was Regina, Trilo would have given her their engagement ring as a present.
Oh, yeah. I suppose you've got a point there.
It was Russell Berry, the victim himself, was it not? You are correct. It was indeed Russell Berry. The person you saw that evening was the victim, the ringmaster, Russell Berry. That's why you greeted him, Trilo, isn't that correct?
Go.
Answer the question, Mr. Quist.
Wah!
Order! How do you respond to this?
Wait a second. Well, at first I thought it was the old man, but once I got a look at him, it was obviously Maximilian Galactica.
I think it is high time that we clear the air about this question. Mr. Quist obviously witnessed a single person in the area of the plaza that evening. The problem is identifying exactly who that person was. Was it Maximilian Galactica? Or was it the ringmaster, one Mr. Russell Berry?
The prosecution argues that it was the defendant that the witness saw that night. The witness has clearly stated that he saw the defendant's 3 symbols. 3 symbols.
Alright, this is getting old. Come on, man, you gotta remember them by now. Here we go again. Everyone, all together now. Ow!
Yes, yes, we know. Silk hat, cloak, and white roses. A silk hat and a cloak? Anyone could wear them. They'd even look good on me. What was that? Well, the witness had endlessly repeated that he saw Max's three symbols. However, how do we really know it was Maximilian Galactica? It could have been someone else dressed up as him. Possibly even Russell Berry. What?
Miss Von Karma,
The
do you have a clear evidence that the person the witness saw was a defendant?
well,
If that's the case, then it is impossible for me to make a judgment at this point.
yes, I think we finally want to point this one. That is very unfortunate. Huh? You're just a little too excited for your own good, Mr. Phoenix, right? What do you mean by that? You merely established one thing from this witness. You established that this witness saw one person in the plaza that night. I applaud you on your efforts, but who that person was can only be answered by the next witness. Huh? Your Honor, the prosecution will provide with beyond a shadow of a doubt an answer to that question, and evidence that clearly establishes one thing, that there is no one that other than Maximilian Galactica responsible for this crime.
Very well. The court will take a 10-minute recess. During that time, I request the prosecution prepare their next witness. Court is now in recess.
December 29th, 11:54 p.m. Fuck, shit.
Sweetie, you have to believe me, I didn't go anywhere near that crime scene.
So then, where were you when the murder took place?
We talked about it yesterday, remember? I was in the ringmaster's room.
And while you were there, it was the ringmaster who left the room, right?
Exactly, he told me to wait in the room because he would be right back.
That's when the ringmaster headed to the scene of the crime, right? That's what it seems like. But the ringmaster must have been wearing Max's costume, right?
Oh, sweetie, I just remembered. I went straight to the ringmaster's room still dressed in my stage clothes. But when I got there, I went ahead and took the costume off.
Which means? It means that the ringmaster could have taken his costume and went out looking like Max.
Fabulous! That's a fabulously possible possibility.
Heh, well done, Nick.
However, sweetie, why would the ringmaster want to dress up like me? Isn't that a bit strange? If you think about it, all they found at the crime scene was my silk hat. What about my cloak? Where did that go?
Double, Wow, Max, I never thought of that. You should be a detective or something.
Well, I was never quite sure what to be when I grew up, magician or president. You have no idea how hard it was to make a decision.
That's really cool. Fabulous. This mystery just keeps getting deeper.